as we said, here we are with the one and only Mr. Jake from Jake's Takes Hockey. Welcome to the show, sir. How you doing today?
That's right. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, nice to have you. So I have seen you a little bit in the chat lately, having fun on our Nothing is Perfect streams. It's been good having you here. What do you think of the crew we got going on there in the chat these days?
Honestly, it's great. Like, I've never been the type to like go into these kind of things, like watch a game with other people.
Yeah.
But it totally makes so much sense to like, for me, because I'm such a super fan that like I can go in there and just like hang out and talk. Cause I just watch games by myself.
Right.
It's a lot of fun, and I really love the crew in there. So it's a fun little community you got built in there.
Yeah, it built really quickly. We're very happy with how things are going, and yeah, everyone always has a good time when you're making your comments, keeping us all informed about what's going on.
Yeah, well, I have to make sure like everyone knows the Vancouver Canucks is an NHL team in the National Hockey League.
Yes.
Because I can understand the confusion if people, they have no idea what's going on. They open up the stream, they're like, is this team even in the NHL? I don't know. So,
for all they know, we're watching field hockey.
Yeah, you never know, right?
So let's talk a little bit about your channel, because you got Jake's Takes Hockey. I got your at Jake's Takes Hockey on YouTube, so everyone can go check that out.
Yeah.
I love the videos, very energetic. Let's talk about how your channel started.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, you know what? My channel started probably a couple of years ago. And I remember as a kid, I did YouTube, like when you're running around your yard and you're like, and you're like making horror movies and stuff, and you think it's super cool. And it was one of those things, like one day I just thought like, I want to get back to like some of the things I did when I was younger. It's like you could make, I don't know if it's a midlife crisis or like, you're trying to remember the things that like made you happy when you were younger. And that was one thing I realized I was missing in my life. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a YouTube channel again. And it was just me. I was just playing like NHL 22, I think it was when I started. And I just thought me and my friends were the funniest people in the goddamn world. So I'm like someone's got to record this, right? And it was just recently I decided to start covering the Canucks in the games. And so that's all new to me. And I'm still trying to figure out an editing style. I'll try not to get copyrighted, all these things, blah, blah, blah. But that's how it all came to existence, was mostly because of gaming. And I think I will still do a little bit of gaming on there. But right now I'm just focusing on the Canucks, and it's fun.
So what's the inspiration for your highlight videos? Because I thought about it myself too. Like I've thought about doing kind of like a highlight package, my takes on the plays and stuff like that. And then I had to look around, and I'd say there's probably 3 or 4 YouTube channels right now that, an hour after the game's done, they got their highlight package out, and it's the very professional, serious, Sportsnet, like here's my breakdown of the game. You've got a completely different style. Can you tell our viewers about your style?
I don't even know. I just kind of like, they call me One Take Jake, right? So and I do generally do it in one take, and I think that's what makes it more authentic, I guess you could say, because I'm not like, I mess up, I don't stop, I'm just like, you know what, screw the viewer, I'm rolling with this, I got to get this video uploaded and go to bed tonight. So I guess that's my style. Is I just try, I'm honestly just being myself, and it's not me trying to be all professional. And because I mean, that is what everyone else is doing. I want to have my own identity on my YouTube channel, and I didn't plan it to be like that. I remember the first video I did the preseason game against Edmonton, I think. And then that one got like 1,400 views, and everyone was like, hey, this is good. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. I'll try and keep doing this, I guess. So, yeah. And so I'm still going with the flow and see where it goes. It's a lot of fun because it's something I really love. I really love the Canucks, and it's something in the winter. I have so much time off right now that this is a good hobby for me to do on my days off.
That's awesome. Well, good thing you mentioned the Canucks. That's the very professional segue for you. Let's talk about who is your favorite Canuck of all time? Like, if you had to pick one guy out of all the years you've been watching, who's your man?
Yeah, it's so funny because it seems like such a simple question, but it's not. Because like when you when I think about it, I'm like, I actually don't know. And you know who I'm gonna go more current. I'm gonna say Quinn Hughes. Because he deserves to be there. Like what he's doing, like he's already breaking all the records. And like, how old is he? 25, 24 or something? Like, yeah, he's still like really young. He's gonna go down as the best defenseman in the Canucks like pretty soon here already.
I'm of the mind that if he stopped playing tomorrow, we would still consider him to be the greatest Canuck the Canucks defenseman of all time.
Right? Yeah. So, but then if I want to go off the board a little bit, there is one guy that I want to give some love to. and it's all recent. But I love Connor Garland. And I loved him from the beginning. I think it was the first year or two. He took a little bit to warm up. But I remember when Benning, you remember the Benning days?
Yeah.
When they
unfortunately.
yeah. When they first traded for him, I was like, oh my God, we're getting Oliver Ekman-Larsson. That's awesome. Yeah, that worked out. And then I was like, Connor Garland. And I started watching like highlights of him, and I got myself all hyped on him.
Yeah.
And I just knew what type of player he was. And I was just like, this guy could really work in the Canucks lineup, like a small, pesty guy. Like he kind of reminds me of a bit of a Burrows in a way, a little bit, just, and he has a scoring touch. And so he's my favorite player right now, I think, and Quinn Hughes. But all time, I think, it just doesn't hit me. It's just, I could say the Sedins. I was a huge Sedin fan. That's the era I grew up in. But I would just stick with Quinn Hughes and Garland.
Final answer. There it is, Quinn Hughes. So let's talk about, you said you grew up during the Sedin era. Let's talk about, what is your favorite Canucks moment? Like if you had to pick a game or a moment, what really stands out for you as one of your favorite memorable moments?
Yeah, that's easy. That's when the Canucks, I think it was the first round, right? When they knocked out Chicago in game 7. Yeah. That was like so electric. Like it was just like the shivers. And I remember the feeling, because I was just so scared. I was young. I was just like, please, just somebody score. And Burrows did that clapper, and it just relieved so much. And it's like, and I had a friend from school that was a Blackhawks fan, and I really didn't want to go back. And he has to razz me for another year. I'm like, please. So that's by far my favorite Canucks moment.
Everyone has to, like, I think a lot of the time people forget that the Canucks were up 3-0 in that series, and they ended up losing 3 games in a row. There shouldn't have even been a game 7, right? And then suddenly we're sitting here and it's in overtime, and it is what it is, right?
And then if they lose, it's like, it's embarrassing. It's not like, oh, like, they battle it out back and forth. It's like, no, the Canucks were about to blow it, and it's not fun when your team's gonna blow it. I hate it. It's just like the first game of the season against the Flyers. I was like, are we really doing this?
Yes, like, it's the Flyers. We are doing it. It always happens when we play the Flyers for whatever reason.
Yeah, right. But the Canucks are the Canucks, and they always will be. But I love them.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things, right? Like I was actually at that game. I was at the Slang Dragon game, so I'm not gonna tell the story too much right now because I'm making a video about it. But I was in that stadium, and it was absolutely wild. I'll tell a secret. I'll just tell you a quick secret. If you're buying Canucks playoffs tickets, you don't try and buy the first games. You try to buy the last game. As soon as the tickets go on sale, buy the very last game. And that way, you're obviously going to get your tickets because everyone's jumping on. They're trying to get game 1, game 2, right? I go in, I buy game 7. If the Canucks don't make it to game 7, whatever, you get your money back. Everybody's happy. If they make it to game 7, you're at game 7, right?
Right. It doesn't work like that. You pay for it, and then if they don't make it, I did not know that.
Yeah. So they'll put it out as, I think they put it out as like game 1, 2, 3, and 4 for the Vancouver venue. And then then game 4 would have been game 7, unless they're obviously playing only 3 games at home. Then you'd be buying game 6 essentially.
Right.
Yeah. So
super cool though. I can't believe you're there.
And tips. Yeah, it was wild. Yeah. I'm actually, I won't tell the story right now, but I'm putting together a little video about it that I'll probably play on stream pretty quick here.
That's right. We got to stay tuned.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about the season so far. Is there anyone on the team that's doing a lot better than you thought they would?
Oh, it's Bluger. You know what? When they re-signed him, he was one of those guys that like I was ready to let go. Like if it did have to come down to it, be like, you know what? Because in my opinion, I don't think he drove the Garland and Joshua line. I think he's a great fit, but I was just like, oh, I bet you someone else could go there. But no, he's really impressed me so far. So that's the first name that comes to the top of my head. He's been really consistent, it seems like, and he's playing on different lines. He's not even playing on that line, and he's just kind of proving me wrong. Where I'm like, hey, you know what? I really like this guy. I really want him to stay on the team, so I'm happy he's still here. And I think they signed him for a couple years, was it?
Yeah. So a 3-year deal.
Yeah. So, and I think it was a fairly team friendly deal. So it's like, he's definitely impressed me.
Yeah, I mean, a guy who kills penalties, a guy who you can even put on the power play in a pinch, right? But you can play him in all situations. You can play him all up and down your lineup. And then, like you said, clearly he doesn't need those exciting line mates like Garland and Dakota Joshua to be a good player. He's playing with a couple guys who are working their butts off, but obviously Garland, like you said, is a little busy bee out there. So
He is a little busy bee, isn't he?
What's your take on the Pettersson situation? Because I know a lot of people are wondering, is Petey's knee still bugging him? Is there something else going on? What's your take on Pettersson after coming into his first year of the $11.6 million contract?
He's putting too much pressure on himself, and we've seen this before. And it's like, and you know what? It's like, as much as I want to defend him, but when you sign something like that, you have to expect the pressure, and you need to. He should learn, or maybe not learn, but should have known, like, or know how to handle it better, because it's clearly something's wrong. And I don't think it's injury wise. I think this is all mental. I think he's fine. I'm not worried. But at the same time, he's got to pick it up. Like, it's when you're making that kind of money, like, and it makes me think, like, what, if he would have signed for like 9 or 8, would he be playing better right now? Maybe, but you never know, right? But
I don't know if that would make a difference, right? Like, at the end of the day, you're making lots of money. The other question I have for you about Pettersson, because I mean, you look at some of the other superstars in the league over the years, like McDavid currently, like Sidney Crosby, and a lot of the time they're like, oh, why is Sidney Crosby not scoring goals? Or why is McDavid not scoring goals? And then last year, McDavid gets 100 assists, right? Sidney Crosby takes a summer off, practices a shot, comes back and scores a 50-goal season, right? So would you be all right? Like, if Petey gets 80 assists and 15 goals, is that that's probably a good season anyways, right?
Yeah. And you know what? And the other thing, like, Petey does do a lot of good things. I think he's actually very underrated defensively.
Right.
I remember even a couple of years ago, I was watching him. He was just blocking passes, going nuts. And I was like, this guy's elite, And so he does do a lot of good things. He's not useless out there, and it may feel like it sometimes because we put a lot on players that make that much money. But he's not doing nothing. And if he does, mount to get 70 to 80 points, I'd be happy with that. That's okay. I personally just want to see him, be a little more confident and happy and, enjoy the game again, right?
I don't know if we'll ever see him happy, but, we can see him confident.
Yeah.
But then as Canucks fans too, I find it funny because this is a team that's been known for some of the worst contracts in NHL history. Like, even OEL, we're still paying for OEL right now. We don't talk about that, awesome, right? We did Eriksson, right? Like, we've had some massive contracts go out for guys who did absolutely nothing. But even Hronek hasn't really started the year as strongly as I thought, and he signed that big deal in the offseason as well. And there's literally no chat about Hronek's new contract.
No chat about that, is there?
Yeah. What about the obviously the goaltending situation has been back and forth. Who are you liking more? Do you want to see more Shilovs, or you fine with them kind of running with Lankinen as the number one till Demko gets back?
I actually think I brought it up in one of my videos. I think it was guessing the line combinations, and I remember saying, like, I don't think we need to throw Seelovs in because, like, he already went on a fairy tale run, but he's still young, so I knew he wasn't going to come flying out the gates. And I'm really glad they picked up someone like Lankinen. I'm a huge Lankinen fan, so I think they should keep rolling with him as much as you can. Keep Seelovs, and I wanted Seelovs to be in the lineup, no doubt. I do, but I didn't want to put too much pressure on him just yet because he's great, but he's gonna have his up and downs a bit. He's still learning, right?
Yeah.
So huge Lankinen fan, and like, man, he's looked solid out there. I don't know how the Canucks keep doing this with goalies, but they find a way, and that's the one perk about being a Canucks fan. We always got a good goalie.
Yeah. See, I'm old enough to remember when this place was a complete goalie graveyard. So I think someone the other day said we went from being a graveyard to a garden. When it comes to goalies, and I'm thinking maybe we're bearing those fruits right now, because even you look down at the AHL and a couple guys down there are looking really good too. So looks like they got some depth.
They like, there's what's his name, Tolopilo or something. Like, even he has some upside to him. There's these other names, and you wonder, are they going to become something too? I remember when Demko was coming up, there was chats about him years before he came up, and I didn't know who he was, and I was like, and then all of a sudden he came out of nowhere and was this awesome goalie. So. Yeah, the Canucks they've done a great job on their goalie work there.
Praise Chef Alvin, let him cook.
Yeah. Oh, I've been super impressed with management.
Yeah. Awesome, Jake. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your day. We'll do this again soon. We might even look at having you come on live during one of the intermissions coming up in the next couple of weeks here, and get some of your reaction during the game. Any final words for the viewers in chat right now?
Yeah, no, I mean, they do know the Canucks are a team in the National Hockey League. So I think we got that clear. after the first period, there's the second period, and then there's the third period. In case people didn't know that. I think I got it most complete. I bet you I was probably saying this in chat, so I just want to make sure everyone's clear. That's it for me. But it was a lot of fun, man. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Jake.
Yeah, thank you. Take care.
Nothing is perfect.